What up YouTube, my name is Radiant Sealer and this is another Star Wars Destiny deck profile. Today I will be taking a look at one of the most hated decks in card game history. I am talking about, of course, the Hyperloop. My version of the Hyperloop is a lot more aggressive, that goes really for the damage and then just has the option to stun lock the opponent via the Hyperloop to go for the timeout victory as it has the most damage on the board. If you bring this to a tournament, people are going to hate you and you're going to laugh. Let's see what I have. So as I said, my version of the Hyperloop is a lot more aggressive than the usual Hyperloopers. And this can be seen from the very character get-go. I'm running a single die Poe with an elite Finn for my Hyperloop. Why? Because Finn punches out more damage during the early game with free damage size on his natural die. Also through Finn you get access to some really powerful cards that can be used in cohesion with Poe Dameron's special ability. For the battlefield I'm using Starship Graveyard because you will be tossing out some cards during the early game that you will want back during the late game, especially when it comes to the supports. Therefore Starship Graveyard provides this deck with the engine it needs to keep on going even as things get tougher. Poe Special is of course the special that says discard a card from your hand to resolve one of its sides on die if able. Then if it was a vehicle card you may pay the cost to play it from your discard pile. So basically the regular play here is to discard the Millennium Falcon and go for 4 damage. In this deck you'll be seeing a vehicle lineup tailored to this character lineup. So without further ado, let's go ahead. I'm running 4 control cards in this deck apart from the Hyperloop combo. I'm running 2 Negotiate. Negotiate is a yellow hero event that lets you remove one of your character die to force an opponent to choose and remove 2 of their dice. This has a lot of ups and downs, which is actually pretty strange because most of the yellow upgrades are strangely specific, like he doesn't like you is a great removal, where Negotiate is not always the best. This really falls down in multiple character matches. If you are up against 3 or 4 characters, Negotiate is a very bad card compared to the other yellow removal cards. Still, it is what you have available as Hero Yellow, and so we are using it. 2 Electroshock is pretty stable by now. Yeah, I can't believe we're actually talking about staples in Star Wars Destiny, but yeah, Electroshock is a staple because it is a neutral yellow card, and 9 out of 10 decks in the current meta have the option to go yellow. It removes dice that show low values, meaning that it often removes the die that would be modified to do heavy damage. Running 2 Hyperspace Jump to assure you get that Starship Graveyard out to make sure you can block any damage that would have done in one of your characters, and of course 2 Hyperloop into non-existence. This video will also contain an explanation for the Hyperloop combo, and so I'll be setting those aside. Now for the things that speed up the deck in events, I'm running 2 Hit and Run. These activate Poe and then you get an ambush turn. It's a 0 cost red event, which makes it really great because you don't actually pay anything to roll your Poe the turn you draw this. If you have upgrades on him you get to roll those as well, and then you've already scaled up. Running 2 all in because this deck really wants to take the battlefield to make sure that your opponent doesn't get anything from Starship Graveyard. So 2 all in is a requirement to ensure that you're always the first one to the battlefield. Running 2 Scavenge because you want, again, to, in case you didn't get your battlefield, you didn't get to draw Hyperspace Jump yet, then you will need Scavenge to mill the top 3 cards of your own deck and then put any of your supports or upgrades back into your hand that you would so desperately need to claim victory. As this deck needs speed, we are running 2 Infamous, as most of the cards in the deck are actually yellow. And as such, Infamous, that gives any yellow card you're about to play ambush, lets you take more turns, again, go for the early claim, get the speed up, get ramping, get damaging, and then get done. The support cards, I'm running a First Order TIE Fighter in Orabesh. This is pretty damn sweet, I won this on Wednesday. Or we didn't actually win it, we all got them for participating, so saying I won is a bit strange. It's here to do some damage because it does have 3 damage sides and it's easy to play out, and it is an Intimidate for this deck. Intimidate is the blue event that removes all shields from a character. That is the special of the TIE Fighter, meaning that if you have playing against a Han Ray deck and Han has managed to get to those 3 shield stacks, you can use the First Order TIE Fighter special in cohesion with Poe Dameron special to create a loophole for you to do more damage. This essentially deal free damage to a character with shields, which is so amazing. And since it actually removes them, Count Dooku can't even passive out of it. That is so good. Running 2 Millennium Falcons is pretty straightforward for a Hyperloop deck. Millennium Falcon has great dice, 3 damage, 4 damage, 2 focus, 3 discard, 2 resources, special. Special reads play a yellow event from your discard pile from your hand. Or from your hand for free. So what's so difficult is getting this out, because it does cost 5, so it's really difficult to make hit the board unless you get proper acceleration. This is why I usually discard it during the early game to get at 4 damage out of Poe special, or a 2 focus if I have the cards on my side of the field to do any more damage with the focus. But other than that, you use it to play hyperspace jump when you don't really want to see what your opponent is going to do to you. I'm putting that aside to explain the Hyperloop in a moment. One ATST is, this card is actually getting the good, the bad, and the forgotten at some point, because I think it's great and it's underused. It has 3 damage sides. It has a 3, a 4, a 5 for 1, 2 shields, and 2 specials. It costs 6, and this is why some people hate it, but why do I love it with this deck? You discard this to destroy a support and play, which makes you the only Hyperloop player in the battlefield. Meaning you get the advantage. It also gets rid of 1 with the Force, binds all things, those annoying things. This is the one card in the game that removes supports. So any deck that can manage to bring it from your hand without paying for it, and sometimes paying for it if you're at that weird game where you've just been hoarding money because you've drawn all your low cost cards, you can throw down the ATST and then just get shooting with it. It's such a great card, and the only card that can destroy the ATST is the ATST. So yeah, I love that card. Those were the supports. Now moving into upgrades. I'm running 2 second chance to protect Finn. It resurrects him because he is the damage building character of this deck. Poe is actually mostly there for his special. Apart from that, you're not going to be using him that much. He does hit hard too, but Finn is there and you want to keep him alive with his 2 dice. Running 2 data pads to bring out those heavy vehicles during the late game, stack out the money and get it out. DH-17 is the standard aggro blaster. It's a neutral red blaster with a lot of damage sides. It has no special, it has no redeploy. You simply play it during the early game and then override it later when you get better guns. 1 F11D, it has a redeploy, and it has a special that forces an opponent to deal 2 damage to the characters, distributing damage as they wish. I don't really like this card that much, and so it only has 1. This is the worst of the redeploy weapons, in my opinion, because it only has 1 damage and then 2 modifieds, a resource, and a special that lets your opponent choose which character takes damage. That really isn't in my book, and it is going to be replaced by another copy of this card when I get the hand of it. And that card, of course, is the Holdout Blaster, one of the best guns in the game. It has ambush, which means you get another turn after playing it, and it has redeploy. So it has that ambush, it has that redeploy, and it has 3 damage sides, only 1 of which are modified. This is a great gun, and we're going to need it in just about every single deck that can run it. It's also neutral, so you get to play it all the time. Jetpack is almost a stable card. If only it had any melee sides, this would be a stable card. So it has a 2 modified range, 3 modified range, a disrupt, 2 shields, and a special that removes a die showing melee damage and gives a character attached character 1 shield. So many people misplayed this card because you're actually allowed to take the shield even if you didn't remove the melee die, because it says do both things, and Destiny has the ruling that it is always up to unless otherwise specified. It doesn't say then give attached character, or if you did, give attached character a shield. So you can always result the specials as a 1 shield, which makes this card really versatile and really great with both Poe and Finn. Last card of the deck is the DL44 Heavy Blaster Pistol. Now, the DL44 is an ambush weapon, but it does cost 3, making it more difficult to play than the other guns in this deck. It is, however, worth it, as it has 2 3 damage sides. Granted, one of them costs 1 resource, but it is still a really good card. It has a +2 modified and a 1 resource. After you play this upgrade, force an opponent to choose and remove 1 of their dice. This blaster is so good because it has both removal, lets you take another action, and it has those range damage, which is just downright incredible. Now, that was the deck. This were the 30 cards that I use with my Hyperloop. Now let's take a look at how to Hyperloop. So what you first want is to get Millennium Falcon on your side of the field. Once you have that, you want to roll it special, and when you roll that special, you get to play a yellow event from your discard pile or hand for free. This is where you use the Hyperspace Jump. Hyperspace Jump allows you to end the action phase and switch the battlefield with the battlefield that is not being used. Now, during the early game, you will have set up and you could now get the Starship Graveyard on your field, so you can really get to play out your upgrades. Now, why is this soft Hyperlooping? Is because the most common battlefield used with Hyperloop is the Emperor's Throne Room that I have right here. And what this does is that it moves your Millennium Falcon over to the special side and resolves it, meaning that you simply just end the turn right there. The thing is for me that doing that doesn't actually win you the game unless you were already leading, and so I find that the Emperor's Throne Room Hyperspace Jump combo, also known as the regular Hyperloop, is not quite as valid as the Starship Graveyard one that lets you get it back even if you've lost it during the early rounds. Also, if you did draw your Millennium Falcon during the early rounds with the Emperor's Throne Room combo and you didn't manage to pull out enough money, you'd simply be sitting there waiting for it to do something instead of just discarding it and then reclaiming it later on. Maybe this isn't as consistent with the Hyperspace exactly, but what it does is more consistent on a competitive base. My name is Radiant Sealer. That was my edition of the damage version of a Hyperloop deck, and I will see you all next time. What up guys? Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, remember to like, subscribe and give any comments for further suggestions that you would like to see in my videos. If you liked what you saw here, then make sure you go to my sponsor Kelsol DK for any of your nerdy card gamey anime kind of needs. That is KELZ0R.DK. They ship internationally to every country in the world, and if you enter the coupon code RXYouTube into the commentary field with your purchase, you will get a mystery gift discount for purchasing. Again, thank you so much for watching this. Go there, get your good stuff, and I will see you all next time.